I'm doing a brief breakdown here. Whenever you see psyops or things that look a bit weird, the Denver airport murals are your maps because somehow or another it's going to connect to something. Jamiroquai, rock, dust, light, star, wearing cerulean blue jacket and dancing on a square. Why does he look like Guy Pearce? You know, the one that was in Memento? Look at the tip of the nose is the same. You still got these beady little eyes. I'm not surprised any longer that they play other people because I knew that some of them looked quite familiar. We got some culture appropriation going on here, wearing this green, which I said is uranium, chemical used in nuclear reactors. Look at it. It's the same. Uranium and black. When I saw this headgear, it reminded me of Metropolis, this old film. And this is the Whore of Babylon with the headgear. So he's wearing all black and he's got a feathered headdress. This is identical to the Aztec warriors and the headdresses that they wore. Look at the picture. He has the face paint on his nose. The warrior has it as well. He's got the V's on the collar and the warrior is wearing that around his arm. But he's wearing black, so it represents the black gak and also death. The Aztec god of death is Mitlanticuli something. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. Headdress has purple feathers, that's ultraviolet for the radiation. There's black, there's the red blood turning black. That doesn't look like a spiral to me, that looks like a G for gamma radiation. And then you've got the green and yellow. So Jamiroquai, his name is JK, so it's like a joke, right? Like JK, just kidding. There's his album, he's in front of the constellation. I haven't checked to see which one that is. The brightest star is probably Venus, or it could be Sirius, standing on the ultraviolet purple roadway. So his symbol is him wearing a horned cap, and I previously explained that the gods used to wear horned caps, and that's how you knew they were a god. This looks like something, he's gone to a rave, but it did remind me of the Flintstones. They were part of a fraternity called the Loyal Order of the Water Buffalo. Royal Anti-Delusional Order of Buffaloes, RAOB, is one of the largest fraternal organizations in the United Kingdom. The large description for branch organization and headquarters was adopted in imitation of Freemasonry. I made a video about pansexual and explained that these horned lodges are actually, it's worship of the sun god and the moon goddess. So he has this little symbol on his hat. When depicted, the moon is most commonly represented as a combination of the full moon disk with the crescent moon. Lunar gods were almost always shown with this symbol on their heads, and up there you do see an Egyptian god wearing the same exact symbol on his head. So sometimes it was the moon and it looked like that. But I did find pictures where it's not the crescent, it's something else. Akka appears as a pair of twin lions, one named Doaj and the other Sefer. When depicted as a lion pair, a hieroglyphic sign for horizon and a sun disk was put between the two lions. So they are showing you that they are referencing these Freemason lodges that worship Osiris and Isis. So sometimes it doesn't have a dot and it's a crescent, but it's still the moon goddess anyway. And you know who else has that symbol? There's a cult called Alatra. They've been exposed several times. Triple Cross did a video about them. I did a video about her. They're not hiding that they are reptilians. Alat, the triple moon goddess, is Astarte, who is also Semiramis, who was the wife of Nimrod. Alat, also spelled Alat, Alatu, and Alilat, is a pre-Islamic Arabian goddess, worshipped under various associations. The presence of her cult was attested in both Palmyra and Hatra. Under Greco-Roman influence, her iconography began to show the attributes of Athena, the goddess of war. So they're saying that Alat is a goddess of war as well. There are two possible etymologies of the name Alat. It has also been associated with the idol of jealousy erected in the Temple of Jerusalem according to the book of Ezekiel. Alat was used as a title for the goddess Asherah or Atharat. The word is akin to Alat, which was the name of the wife of the Semitic deity El. A Western Semitic goddess modeled on the Mesopotamian goddess Ereshkigal was known as Alatum, and she was recognized in Carthage as Alatu, Greek equivalent Athena, Roman equivalent Minerva, Canaanite equivalent Astarte and Atargatis. Alat was mentioned as Alilat by the Greek historian Herodotus in his 5th century BC work Histories. and she was considered the equivalent of Aphrodite, aka Venus. The Assyrians called Aphrodite Mylitta, the Arabians Al-Lat, and the Persians Mithra. According to Herodotus, the ancient Arabians believed in only two gods. They believed in no other gods except Dionysus and the heavenly Aphrodite. They called Dionysus Orotalt and Aphrodite Al-Lat. They called Dionysus Orotalt. I do not find it a coincidence that Anne Rice wrote a vampire book called Taltos. She just changed the words around with the full moon. Wilma and Betty disguised themselves as men to get into the lodge, so they are talking about the cross-dressing rituals. And the head of this order wears a corona on his forehead. It's not an accident that these are wearing red, blue, and green, which are the 369 portal frequency colors. Which brings us back to Jamiroquai wearing this rainbow-colored thing. Peruvian man wearing national clothing. So it definitely connects to South America and the rituals that they're doing. His rainbow baja is a reference to this rainbow flower that's growing in front of these children. And they're telling you that this is what it's about because there's a green light going through Jamiroquai's arm. And then look at the mural. There's two green ribbons. That's actually the Quetzal bird. I've explained in previous videos that the woman at the bottom of this picture is Venus. There is a flower above her which looks like the trillium flower. The trillium is ruled by the planet Venus. And when we put it together, you can see on the left, Venus has died, and on the right, Venus has risen. The red trillium flower, it looks like a woman inside of it, and then this rainbow flower, that white thing looks like a dove, which represents Venus. It's Venus as a boy. Remember, Venus, aka Ishtar, changes people's gender. And this relates to Aleister Crowley's Crowned and Conquering Child. The Aeon of Horus, the Crowned and Conquering Child. Crowley's Aeon of Horus is another name for the hybrid age of Aquarius associated with all those things right there. Love is law, love under will, 93s, and thank you for visiting the website of the Crowned and Conquering Child, a private sanctuary based in northeast Alabama, serving the Thelemic, magical, and LGBTQIA communities. They've got a very interesting symbol here. So I compared it. The 93 order, you can see the black up here, that's the Star of Ishtar. And then the pentagram in the center is also Venus because she makes the pentagram in the sky. The red in the middle looks like a chalice which connects to the Whore of Babylon. Under all that is a phoenix bird rising from the ashes. I told you that a phoenix is a serpentine bird, and underneath of that is a V for Venus, and it's gold. So you can see here on the mural, it's the rainbow flower, and the white in the middle looks like a dove. Then you have this monarch butterfly over here, which is that could be several things. It could be mind control. But this is like the new race of humans, the new race of children. Which brings us to Jewel State with the rainbow hair. She played a character named Catalina. Catalina is from Saturn. My book says that Catalina is related to Catherine, and it's Greek, and it means pure maiden, the saint who was martyred on a spiked wheel. She has red hair and some interesting looking pupils. I'm not sure if that's the light from the camera, but it looks odd. I've learned that there's a new Boss Baby film. The girl child has red hair and green eyes. This also connects to the Crowned and Conquering Child. Timothy Tim Templeton, that's TTT, is triple tau, an imaginative 7-year-old boy, relishes his parents' attention and is horrified when a new baby brother arrives. Baby, whom Tim saw arrive in a taxi clad in suit and tie and carrying a briefcase, behaves normally around the adults, crying for attention and food and diapers all day and night. However, Tim sees Baby talking in an adult voice and behaving like an adult whenever Mr. and Mrs. Templeton aren't looking. One day, Baby holds a staff meeting with other toddlers and infants. Baby makes Tim suck a special pacifier that allows them to see baby core, where babies come from. Most babies go to families, but those who don't respond to tickling are sent to management, where they're given a special baby formula that allows them to think and behave as adults while remaining young forever. This is taking us back to the 1940s when children were indoctrinated in school and taught to spy on their parents. The 3 babies here wearing a bear, a frog, and a cat is a reference to this demon called Baal or Baal frog and cat with the beast in the middle that is crowned. The crowned and conquering child. So all these parents that are like, oh, my baby's so advanced, isn't it amazing? You need to go back and watch Village of the Damned and then ask yourself if that's the appropriate response. Children are not meant to be advancing this quickly. I don't think it's cute and I don't think it's funny. I think it's quite frightening actually, because really, what are these babies? Just because they're in a baby body, I don't think that means they're a baby. Making me think of a Stephen King book called Children of the Corn. This relates to Saturn. His hat looks like Saturn with the rings and he's holding a scythe. And that is a connection to Saturn, aka Cronus. Saturn in Roman mythology with his sickle and wheat. The Romans, according to their custom of identifying their deities with those of Greek gods, whose attributes were similar to their own, declared Cronus to be identical with their old agricultural divinity Saturn. He was banished and took refuge with Janus, king of Italy, who received the exiled deity with great kindness and even shared his throne with him. Saturn is usually represented bearing a sickle in one hand and a wheat sheaf in the other. It's called Children of the Corn and Maize is corn. Saturn is the ancient Roman god of harvest and agriculture. He carried a sickle as his symbol. Saturn was also the major Roman deity of time. He was worshipped in a winter festival called Saturnalia, and I had discussed that previously on my first channel. The sickle symbolizes Saturn, who's also Rempha, Moloch, Huon. The hammer is used in Masonry to represent the assassination and resurrection of Hiram Abif, the Masonic Messiah, who is the Antichrist. The Masonic initiate is struck with a hammer in imitation of Abif's assassination. Saturn, harvest time, in ancient Italy belonged to the god of reaping. This takes us to the Hunger Games. They do something every so often called a reaping. It's an annual event that takes place in every district before each Hunger Games, where the tributes of the upcoming games are chosen. Each district's escort randomly chooses the name of one male and one female tribute from the separate glass bowls. Only children 12 to 18 are reaped. So really this is a Saturn festival because Saturn ate his children and these children are going to be sacrificed as they have to kill each other. I broke down that video on my first channel. I'll re-upload it whilst I'm working on the second film. And this brings me to a creature that has been bothering me, who wishes to believe that this is not about gods and goddesses and they're symbolic and astrological. I don't think this to be true. I think these gods and goddesses are real entities because it doesn't make sense to me why people would do so many rituals for gaseous luminescent balls in the sky. I don't think so. So this person I've identified as an agent and has been harassing me for like 6 months now. And I told it to go away and then it just kept coming back and responding. So I had to disable the comments on the video because that's how you know that they're agents. Because a normal person, if you said something to them, they would just leave. They wouldn't say anything. But they come back and they keep coming back and having something to say. So it's obviously an agent. And this one says, if you're a real truther, why would you have the same logo and slogan as the Satanist? This coming from the person who 5 months ago told me to do a video about Christianity being paganism in disguise. And I wouldn't do it. So this entity seems to have an idea of what truth is, and anybody who's Christian, it attacks them. Anybody who believes opposite of what it wants, it attacks them. And the implication here is, if I'm a real truther, then I would make videos about all of these religions being paganism in disguise. I don't feel that it's progressive to attack people for whatever religious beliefs they have. I think everybody is on their own path. And if I don't believe something that somebody else says, I'm not going to go out of my way and attack them. And I have to continually remind people over time, this is my channel and I will put on it what I want. You're welcome to offer suggestions, but I don't have to take it because this is my time, my energy, and my money that I'm putting into this, and I do these videos for free. So twice this entity has had a tantrum because I don't share much information about myself. You're yet to give your opinion on religion. Most of your viewers are religious. Right there. Okay, so now you know it said it. It believes that Christianity is paganism, which would mean that Satan is a pagan deity, correct? And this creature just said that it knows that there are religious people on my channel, so now it's playing both sides. Why would you have the same logo and slogan as the Satanist? See, they tried this nonsense on my first and second channel, and I remembered it, and I called them out for it. They play both sides. There's a lot of deflection going on. Oh, well, people who are trying to wake up, they don't know your views on this, or they don't know your views on that. I know what they're doing. I don't give much information about myself because it's my private life. I am not required to tell people everything about my life, and it does not give them anything to use. So then they end up grasping at straws, which is quite obvious that that's what they're doing. No one really knows what you look like, no other contact channels, etc. Oh, diddums. And then no one really knows what you look like. Okay, so if you see people on other channels saying, why don't you show your face? We don't know what you look like. When are we going to see what you look like? They're an agent 100%. Nobody is required to reveal their identity, but they want something to work with. They want to know who you are so that they can find you. And no other contact channels. I'm not required to give my information out. So it's having a tantrum because I don't give my email address for what? So that you can send me messages and tell me that it's better that I kill myself than to make these videos? To send me messages that you're going to come kill me and you're going to find my family because you don't know how I got this information and it's just revealing a bit too much for you? This entity made contracts with Dracos for some sorts of protection. The Dracos are not going to protect you. I made a statement to your servitor that it was forbidden from interacting on my station, and what did it do? It responded twice. The servitor no longer belongs to you. The servitor now belongs to me, and this servitor is herewith terminated. Your servitor is violating the law. You know, and I know, that this system is designed to include both. And so you have your servitors coming to my station and suggesting that I might be an agent because you don't like that I have figured out your system. Your bollocks system. To deny this mythology is to deny that these entities exist. They're telling you about themselves. It's not mythology, it's these entities here. All of these gods and goddesses that have been reincarnated in every different culture, it's them. And they certainly exist because they left their fingerprints everywhere for you to find. And they don't like that I have revealed what was hidden. I have been talking about Ishtar on here since 2019, and now other truthers are talking about it. And I know, I watch some of the channels, they put a lot of my information in their videos, and they don't say where they get it. But every person who is revealing the deception of this system is being watched by these entities. And there's other channels that I don't know, but they watch them. And they watch other people talking about Ishtar and Diana and Artemis and Atargatis and Isis. And they see other people now talking about the mythology and the religion. And that's what I did on my first channel. I told you that names mean something, and there was always a meaning behind those names. And I told you about the mythology, because it's not. They put all this stuff in mainstream and even the truth movement or the alternative media, which is controlled by them as well, so that you can worship them in another form. People will begin to see them and there will no longer be doubt they exist. I expect they may have to put new laws for us regarding them. I expect that's probably possible. But in the meantime, keep your servitors in line. Because when they come into my station and they start chatting nonsense and trying to get people to think that I'm an agent, that is tacit consent for whatever I so choose. If you want to keep your servitors, keep them off of my station. If you want to know whether or not you're looking at an event that is a psyop, always look for the TG aspect and look for the mythology. For example, there's this person named Jojo Siwa. Siwa, fertility and love goddess. Siwa, living being existing as a fertility and love goddess. She was worshipped throughout Eastern Europe. She's a Slavic goddess and she is associated with Venus, which is what I've told you and told you and told you, that it constantly refers back to this planet because Venusians are reptilian or Draco or whatever it is, and they are going to continue to give you these stories, and all of these actors are named after gods. This is a little hidden nod to the TG flag. The love heart with the star in the center is a reference to Eunomia, goddess of law and good conduct. Do you see the sparkly stuff on the nose and the face? That's a reference to the Aztec pantheon. The girl that was at the climate strike with Gremlin Tunbura, the girl that was in the video for Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane, the red thing on the face, and also the Alien film. Because they show you it's these gods. And how many times do they have to tell you? They showed you in all their pictographs that these entities drink blood and they eat humans. And so they are referencing that because these are currently sacrifices to Ishtar, stroke Venus. Which is why this one has so much rainbow. That's just far too much rainbow. Okay, the spiky shoulder pads, back to the Ubaid reptilians. The purple and blue is Jupiter. Do you see the front of the dress? That's the lightning bolts going down, which is Jupiter, aka Zeus, Thor, Hadad, Indra, etc. I mean, their system is quite easy to figure out, and they're not happy that I figured it out, and they're not happy that other people are talking about it as well. But it is law, and that is how the system works, that you must allow for both sides to be represented. So I don't want any more of your servitors on my channel making these comments, and I will not tell you again.